we have an update from KMS, and it is important because it is titled Apology for Inadequate User Advisory Group Operation, which that cycles into the thing we talked about previously, where apparently they were paying the people in the advisory group without telling anyone. And in KMS, people were already pretty pissed off at the position that these people had and were really, really, really skeptical that they weren't able to impact the game for their own perfect personal benefits. Which Nexon said, no, that's not possible, they don't have that much impact, that's not possible. And then apparently they were paying them the whole time and giving them benefits in the game. So they're addressing that. And then the other thing is version 12125 test server in KMS with the 64-bit client testing. It seems that they're still on the way for launch in September in KMS. Now, if that means that we will get it quite soon after that, or we have to wait the regular period, or it's somewhere in between, we will have to see. But yeah. So let's see. A couple of things that Max is going to combine for us. Thank GODD. You're probably giving me the same intro. Apology. For context, basically what happened is that a member of the advisory group used an image of someone else looting a hard boss item when they shouldn't have, and that person threatened to sue them for defamation. The advisory group members said they didn't have money to pay for that, but the other person asked where they got money to... Wait. Oh. Okay, where they got money to open Royal-style box coupons, and the advisory group member broke their NDA to say that they get 500k NX every month. This led Invent users to rage about how they're getting paid to do presumably nothing. Lots of drama. Because apparently they haven't done anything in like the last 3 months or something. So 500k NX every month. So that's $500 worth of NX. Which on the side, when you're not really doing anything, this is 10 times what I get for making all the YouTube content I do per month, okay? So these guys didn't do jack shit for 2 months. I do like 8 to 9 hours of MapleStory streams a day. I get 1/10 of what they get. I'm gonna look for that B Brigade raise, okay? Next on NA, where you at? I know you got a budget. Come on, hit me up. You get to direct some of my content too? Some cooperations? Hit me up, okay? Okay. The second thing is the new Invent is like the biggest MapleStory message board basically in KMS. It's like the old Bezel Market, if you guys remember that. Okay, the second thing is the new patch of KMST testing for 64-bit client. Again, this time they released a longer notice talking about their decision to switch and how it will affect players. It seems that we'll be getting it in the official servers within the next few months. It'd be really cool, again, if they could give an update, because we saw the old images, and I did make a video about that before when we did see those, of how the 64-bit client was operating, and it was insane. So good. There were like 40 people in the same map hitting a target dummy with everything they had, and there was not a single frame lost the whole time. Everything was showing up perfectly smooth. Nothing went wrong. Of course, that's in a test client, you know, limited amount of people, limited amount of resources. That could be like, you could easily make an artificial area where just one thing works perfectly and everything else falls apart, of course, right? So we'll see if this goes actually into, is it not bribery? No. The guy was saying like, how could you pay for suing me for defamation? He wasn't saying like, you have to give me NX so I don't sue you or something. That would be bribery. Apology for inadequate user advisory group operation. All right. So we apologize for the frustration caused by inadequate notices about the user advisory group's activity. When preparing for the customer conference on April 11th, we decided that MapleStory could go in a better direction if we received more in-depth opinions from the user's point of view. So we started a user advisory group. And also we had to do that because otherwise you guys were all leaving us and nobody was going to come back, and MapleStory would die as a game. Through this, we expected it to be an opportunity for positive changes to the game, not only by receiving the opinions of players who the development team had been looking at, but also the advice from individual members of the user advisory group. However, contrary to our intentions, we disappointed players by not sharing enough information about our ongoing activity during the operation process. All of us at the development team are to blame for this. They had a lot of eyes on them as well. Everyone was really, really hawkishly looking at them, making sure that they weren't making any weird moves again because of, you know, the breach of trust with all of the stuff that happened before. For those of you who've been completely unaware, basically they lied about the RNG of everything, flames, inner abilities, somewhat of potentials as well, cubes. That's why we had all of the compensation months ago. And that's why a lot of people in KMS stopped playing the game, moved to other games, content creators left, people were really, really mad, started boycotting, spending less money, etc., etc., etc. So this is kind of on the tail end. They started with all of this stuff, and so now we're kind of at the point where, you know, they're constantly making sure, doing permanent damage control mode, making sure that they, you know, aren't putting their foot in their mouth, basically. Should quickly informed you about the user advisory group's activities, but we didn't. When we began the user advisory group, we promised to give announcements as soon as possible, but we apologize for the delay. We were planning to release a notice about the first discussion, with the user advisory group about the topics of 1, boss reorganization, discussion board reorganization, and character growth reorganization. Those were like the 3 main topics from before. After that, 26, when the discussion board's topics would be finished. Since the topics on the discussion board are the same as what we discussed with the user advisory group, we thought that if we released the user advisory group's opinions first, they would affect the opinions given through the discussion board. We will summarize the opinions from the first discussion with the advisory group together with the opinions from the discussion board and release a notice homepage by July 30th. Yeah, so I could totally understand why they would want to do that, but just say that you're doing that. Because part of the outrage now is that these people are getting so much money and they're not doing shit. Because you're not informing us, you're not communicating with us that they are doing something, right? And if you're not going to, then people are gonna, you know, they're just gonna think what they're gonna think, right? If you say you're gonna communicate more and be more open and everything, then do that. We did inform you in advance about the predetermined activity fund given that's one way to say, given to the user advisory group. We thought that it was appropriate to provide an activity fund to the 8 members of the advisory group who put in a lot of time and effort while carrying out their activities. However, we apologize that we did not inform you about this in advance when the user advisory group began. The base settings of the user advisory group were insufficient. So are they confirming that they are getting something and confirming that it is 500? They're just saying, like, we're sorry that we didn't tell you, and then that's it? No, you? What is this? Can I open this on stream? I play Genshin Impact because I hate chat. Ooh, damn. Okay. 3, the base. So I don't know, that seems like there's going to be a tail end for that number 2 when the people are going to want more clarification on top of that. The base settings of the user advisory group were insufficient. There were many shortcomings in our first advisory group operation process, and the members of the user advisory group were not able to fully perform their activities as we were still in the process of looking at and adjusting things such as the non-disclosure agreement and recommended activities. Therefore, the user advisory group was left in a poor environment where they did not stand, well, not that poor if they get $500, where they did not stand out as an advisory group but as individuals instead. As a result, the user advisory group as an entirety was looked at in a negative way rather than a positive way. Yeah. Since this also happened as a result of the development team's inexperienced operation, we will carefully look at and take action on any problematic areas of our operation policy. We bow our heads and apologize for causing any concerns to players. Still groveling at the feet of the gamers. This is not over, I don't think. People are still gonna be pissed about this, so we're gonna probably see quite a lot of threads on Invent and stuff like that about people not being too happy with all of this stuff and wanting some more clarification and some confirmations probably on certain things. But then, on a happier note, the 64-bit client testing advanced notice. Why did it take so long? The testing of 64-bit client, which took place since December 2020, is reaching the final stages. Oh my god, they've been testing this for 8 months. Through testing, we have confirmed positive results such as reduction of game lag and improvements to content loading speed, and are planning to apply it to the official server in September. In this notice, we would like to provide general guidance such as the 64-bit client application background, expected changes, and required specifications. When this update is released to the official server, the 32-bit client will no longer be available, and we ask for your understanding that you will be required to upgrade to a 64-bit operating system. Alright, everyone is still rocking Windows 95. It's time to upgrade, boys. Time to step into the future, alright? All those Windows Vista, people still using NT4, Windows 3.11. Time to get with the program, okay? Future is now. All the Koreans with Windows XP. Time to move on. 32-bit client's memory limit. A little bit of background here. MapleStory's client program was developed in 32-bit and has a 4 GB memory limit. It actually runs... Yeah, we noticed that. Because once you pop to 4, the game just dies. It actually runs with a lower memory limit than that. To overcome its limitation, we use an optimization technique that reads necessary data and loads it into memory, and then releases all data from memory when memory usage reaches a certain limit. Does it, though? However, MapleStory's update accumulated over a long period of time have gradually increased the amount of memory required. As a result, despite applying memory optimization techniques, the memory efficiency is accelerating, increasing the frequency of client lag and abnormal client termination due to frequent data loading. Yes, I've noticed that. Have you guys noticed that before? I've noticed that sometimes. Therefore, we hope to provide a better playing experience by applying the 64-bit client to overcome the 32-bit memory limit. High 64-bit operating system usage rate. A 32-bit client can run on both 32-bit and 64-bit operating systems, but a 64-bit client can only run on a 64-bit operating system. Therefore, we have continuously monitored what kinds of operating systems players use and consider the right time to introduce 64-bit client. And we're finally at the magic number, guys, of 99.6% of people. It's finally time. As of July of 2021, 99.6% of players were using a 64-bit operating system, and in addition, 86.4% of the players were using 8 gigs of RAM or more and would be able to feel the memory limit removal. Therefore, we have decided to apply the 64-bit client to provide a more stable service, knowing that enough players will be able to easily switch to the 64-bit client. So what, was it only like 99% like 6 months ago or what? Like 0.4%. That's like the people going for 24-star, 25-star equips, dude. Players using 32-bit operating system will be required to update to a 64-bit operating system. We apologize for the unavoidable inconvenience of having to go into the present time of technology. To provide a better service, we ask for your understanding. Dude, let this be the thing that makes the game stable, please. Just no more random fucking closing. No more memory leaking, crashing, shit. Taking forever to load. My 612 gigabytes of RAM will finally come in handy. God damn. I hope you're running 612 gigs as your actual hard drive and just putting everything on the... Oh my god, 14.6? Am I doing it? Counter? Okay, sorry. 64-bit client requirement specifications. Here we go. Check 64-bit operating system. This is how you can check if you are currently using a 64... Okay, this is for the 0.4% of people who are still, like... If your computer screen is like one of those blocks, you know, if you still push like floppy disks into your computer, this might be you, alright? Setting system about, check 64-bit operating system in system type. When did we move into 64-bit? Windows 7, was that in 2007? Is that why it was called Windows 7? I don't even remember. It was around that time though, wasn't it? When did Windows 7 come out? It didn't come out. In 2009. Alright, so if you've been on your computer in the last 12 years, you probably don't need to check this. Korean Windows looks strange. Yeah, it's got all these weird symbols. Windows 8, 8.1, Windows 7. Oh, there was a 32-bit Windows 7 also? Upgrade to a 64-bit program. Operating system, I mean. If you need to upgrade, you will first have to check if your CPU supports 64-bit Oh my god, how old are these computers? Check if x64 is included in systems type. If x86 is included, then it is a 32-bit processor. Wait, I actually might have that. Players who have 64-bit processors can use the 64-bit client after upgrading their Windows to 64-bit. Players who have 32-bit processors can use the 64-bit client if they upgrade their Windows to 64-bit after replacing their CPU with one that supports the 64-bit operating systems. Beautiful. All right. Computer mumbo jumbo. Hardware and software problems. Improvements by applying the 64-bit client. On the 64-bit client, the maximum memory usage limit and the memory mapped I/O options have been added, and the following improvements have been made. Reduction of game lag. In the 32-bit client, the maximum memory usage was about 2 gigs, but in the 64-bit client, it can be set to as much as the amount of RAM installed on the PC. If the maximum memory usage is sufficient, the cases of read data in memory being released and read again after decreased, reducing game lag. Okay. That was a good sentence. That was just hard to read. In particular, for boss content that required a lot of memory, most of the cache data was deleted to secure memory when entering. After that, the data was loaded into memory again, causing a lot of lag. Again, if the maximum memory usage is sufficient, we expect minimal lag. It's kind of weird though that we have to be setting like, okay, this is how much RAM you're supposed to use, computer. Like, isn't the computer just isn't the game supposed to use like an acceptable amount of RAM? Like, it's still gonna implode and it's still gonna implode on itself if it goes too high, I think, right? Because when the game crashes because it's like using too much RAM, it's not because of my computer running out of RAM, it's because the game becoming unstable. But I guess we'll see. Improved content loading speed. By enabling memory mapped I/O, you can use additional memory to increase data loading speed. In specific situations and contexts, we expect even faster loading. Even faster than now. Well, 64-bit client application data. Date, sorry. 64-bit client is testing with the goal of being applied to the official server in September. As the client stability test is the most important, please note that there will be no updated content other than the 64-bit client in the July 22nd test world patch. In the future, we will continue to do our best to provide more pleasant playing, and new experiences to players. Thank you. Okay, so no other information for the test server either. So this is going to be like the whole KMST preview as well, all wrapped up in one. But yeah. So, you know, some good, some not so good. So I'll be interested how the Koreans reply to all of this stuff, because I'm pretty sure they're still going to have a hissy fit. Even despite all of this, they're going to have to rage a little bit. But when it comes to 64-bit client, I am very... And you guys know me, I don't really look forward too much. I don't really put hope in things because, you know, when it comes to Nexon, typically hopes and dreams only are there to get crushed. But I'm quietly, carefully looking forward to this and hoping that this answers some question. People have been raging on Invent for a week about the advisory group thing. Yeah, I think it's got to go at least another week. Storage is bugged a bit. If you leave and re-enter storage group quickly, the game thinks you are in combat. Oh, that's been around forever. I think that's in there automatically as a safeguard to make sure that people don't dupe things in storage. Because I think there was some duping stuff where people just put things in storage, close their game, and then the game would think it was in the storage and in your inventory at the same time. And then if you just kept doing that over and over by going back in, you could pick it up and double your shit or something. Cautiously optimistic is the phrase you look for. Yeah, cautiously optimistic, yeah. So I hope the testing goes well with this. I hope they can scale it up into the live servers. And then also I hope that we don't have to wait for this for too long and we can include this for us. I don't know, is there anyone in the chat right now who's still running through 32-bit processor? I'm pretty sure you guys are all running 64-bit, right? Told y'all 128 gigs is the minimum amount of RAM needed. 16-bit, 8-bit gang. Nice, nice. I'm running an 8-bit processor. In MapleStory 2, the storage had a cooldown, most likely because of that reason. But yeah, let me know what you guys think at home about what happened with the advisory group, how they didn't disclose that they were getting money, and then the guy breaking his NDA, because people in Korea are not happy about all of that. But if I know GMS well, people are just going to yell compensation instead of actually caring about any of this stuff. Just more caring about what they can get out of it, rather than having to address what the actual thing is and having some kind of discussion about, like, ethically if this is good or bad, but more like, just give me stuff and I won't give a fuck, because I actually already don't really give a fuck. It's kind of what the general gist of it was, but it seems like so far. But then the 64-bit client, let me know how you feel about that one, because this seems, well, I mean, late, very late. Probably would have expected this like 10 years ago. I can't imagine that 10 years ago this number wasn't also already at like 98% or something. I don't know how much of a bullshit, like, excuse this is, but maybe the RAM thing could have been an issue a little bit more. I think like 5 years. Oh. Uh-oh, what did I do? Oh, I broke it. Oh. I broke my Chrome. I broke my Chrome. I was just sliding a picture. God, you're so sensitive. And now all my Chrome is gonna close. All 13 of my tabs, including the music. And the chat, so I can't even see your responses right now. But yeah. Chrome, great program. MapleStory soon, maybe also a great program. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you when there's more updates to cover. All right, see ya. Bye.